Hello there, I'm Helen Sattler. How are you? I am your Destiny Helper. It's been a while since I've been on live, and thank you so much for those of you who are emailing me, asking the different questions that you're asking. Thank you for subscribing and sharing this YouTube channel. It is helping many people, and I appreciate that, and I value your comments, and I value your time spent. I'm here going live to answer your questions. And one of the questions is why is the narcissist so irresponsible, and why is it a burden to love them? Well, when you've been with a narcissist have a tendency not to take blame for anything, which carry overs to a lot of irresponsibility, because many of them have childlike behaviors, and these childlike behaviors cause them to live in an unreal world, to live in a fantasy world, and the reality and the burden of life they get away from. So they put all of that burden on you to bear the problems, to bear the uncomfortabilities of life. And sometimes we get so used to doing for people, and then after a while, when the burden get too heavy because you've done it so long, then you recognize it. But when you're first with the narcissist, a lot of times you don't recognize that you've taken the burden. You don't recognize that some of you are even taking the responsibility of paying all the bills. You're working, all of your money goes to all the bills. You have nothing left. Even though they work, even though they may have money, they never allow you to enjoy anything that you bring in. It has to be consumed. And we allow that for so long until the narcissist has built a pattern. You got to remember, the narcissist has a habit of mirroring who they are with and who they are around, and you are teaching them the behavior in which to be, because they don't have feelings of their own that is conducive to life, that is conducive to happiness. They learn what happiness is by watching you be happy. And so the narcissists live in a fantasy world, and this fantasy world equips them to be a burden with you. Hello, Cynthia. Good morning to you. How are you? And when these narcissists take and put the burden on you, when you start to complain about that burden, that becomes a very uncomfortable place, and they start gaslighting, devaluing you, and or they may even triangulate. Some narcissists use triangulation as a source of punishment. You've been bad, so I'm going to punish you by giving away what I know you want me. You're working so hard for me, but you will never have me. So I'm going to give myself away. And when he's with that other person, when she's with that other person, she thinks that she is hurting you. So they go, everything they know you want, they give to that other person, because the narcissist is quick to blame others for their problem. The narcissist doesn't take responsibility for the things that they do. They think that it is right. They think that you should take it. They think that you should be able to handle it. And they think that no matter what they do, you should concur with their behavior, which is not true. Hello, Jessica. How are you? Good morning to you. And so the narcissist can be irresponsible, and it's a burden. It's a burden to have a husband or a wife, a grown man or a grown woman, and they're like children. And so it's hard sometimes to get intimate with them. Hello, Renee. How are you? How are you doing this morning? It's hard to get intimate with them. And when you get intimate with them, it feels like you're sleeping with your child. But the narcissist has so love bombed you. That's why the love bombing in the beginning is pertinent. That is of the essence. Everything that is going to happen after in this relationship, it happens after the love bombing, based on the job that they do in the love bombing. People have been in a narcissistic relationship for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, based on trying to get that first response, that first love. And when the narcissists know that you're leaving them, what they would do is start love bombing you again. She said, just finish my morning prayers. Oh, good girl. That is the way to do it. Your morning prayer is awesome. Well, what we're talking about today is the irresponsible narcissist. And maybe you who have been involved and know about the irresponsible. Oh, love your show. Thank you so much. That has been living with a narcissist and they're irresponsible. I would like for you to put some comments up on this program because other people are looking for answers. This is a question that I've had several people to write over and over and over and over again. And I have other videos that would address the issues of the narcissist. And you got to remember this narcissistic, this is a personality disorder. This is not a behavior disorder. This is ingrained in their true character. This is their pattern self, their authentic self that you're going to get. And a lot of times we go in thinking, excuse me, that we're going to change them. You're not going to change a narcissist. Its mind is steep. You would not change a narcissist. We didn't say God because God can do anything. I believe that. But a lot of people go in thinking God wants to change. God is not that God don't want to change the narcissist. It's that your narcissist don't want to change. Your narcissists like who they are. They like the benefit package. They have their way. They bulldoze over people. They are irresponsible. They live in a fantasy world. They hurt easily. They live trying to find love because they have this deep void and they're always looking for love. That's why no matter how you love them, they always looking for love. And you could have just loved them and the first thing they'll tell you, one day I'm going to find real love. Hello there, Slim. How are you? I'm going to find real love. And you're thinking, what do you think I'm giving you? What do you think I'm going through all of this for? The narcissists live with this gaping hole because the nature is to hurt. If you go to a person or a psychiatrist, psychologist who know the true essence of a narcissist, they know that you've been wounded. They know that you've been hurt. They know that you went through. They know that you've incurred pain. They know that you're going to incur pain. So they teach you how to be strong. They teach you how to endure. They teach you how to tolerate. They teach you how to maintain your psyche because of the trauma that you're going to go through. So they teach you how to self-invest. If you don't know how to self-invest when you are with a narcissist, you will soon lose who you are. There's people who lose their mind, lose their life behind a narcissist. When you have someone who's irresponsible and live, hello there, how are you? UJ Williams, and that live in a fantasy realm. Everything they live, they create in their mind, and then they come out of their mind to live a life. And you're wondering where they get all of this from. They got this from the personality disorder that they have. They don't think to do good. They think to hurt. They're thinking to wound. When a narcissist see you, they're not seeing you as a human. They're not seeing you as a woman. They see you as supply. They see you as fuel. They see you as catering to them, serving them. It's slavery. It's slavery with a ring. It's slavery living in the house with them. It's slavery. It's organized slavery because they have a pattern of things. And if you've been in a relationship with more than one narcissist, even though they have different personality, you'll notice a similar pattern that is totally commencing in the relationship. And one of them is irresponsibility. They are very irresponsible. Hello there. Is it Have Guns Will Travel? How are you? And so you're noticing that no matter what you give, and as a matter of fact, when you start to get strong, they turn the heat up. Because one thing a narcissist want to do, a narcissist doesn't want a strong relationship that is going to bruise them and hurt them. They want a weak relationship that is going to surrender to them, that's going to submit to them. And they defend their cause in the name of love. But will love hurt you like that? Will love treat you like that? Will love do you like that? The narcissist, even if he's a multi-millionaire, he goes on yachts, he party, he do he does things with his money because they live fantasy living. They are consumers. They may be investors, and narcissists now make excellent businessmen and women. Why? Because they don't feel where you will have mercy on people, the narcissists will not. When it's time for you to pay up, the narcissists want their money. They want you to give them their money. They don't want your excuse. They want payment. Where you will give people an opportunity to get themselves together, to give them a chance. But not the narcissists. The narcissists pay my money and pay it now. I don't care if you have hardship. You figure that out. That's why they can be very shrewd, crude businessmen and business women. And so when they bring in the money, it's never our money. It's always their money. So when it's their money, the narcissists feel I can do what I want to. You're always loading me down. You're always causing problems. I pay the bills of this house. I give you anything you want, which you know that is not true. And when the moment you say it's not true, he says, see, you always lying on me. See, when you get into gaslighting, it's nothing, a word salad. There's nothing that you're going to say to the narcissist that they're going to agree with unless it benefits them. So the moment you start complaining about them being irresponsible, they start to get angry. Because they tell you, I'm not irresponsible. You're irresponsible. You didn't pay the bills, but you said you would pay the bills. And they say, yeah, I said it, but then you took it. And you know you didn't take it. You said, but I never said that. They said, now you lying. Word salad is when they bring confusion. You never reach an end of the conversation. And then when you think you reach a resolve, they go right back to the beginning. And their irresponsibility, they keep running around in circles until you get tired, until you get worn out. When you get worn out, then the conversation ceases, but the behavior doesn't. The behavior keeps going, keeps going. Many narcissists that were not wealthy lose homes, lose cars, and many of you have been in so many apartments, townhouse where you stayed there a year, he didn't pay the bill, you gotta move. Just when you settle, you gotta move again. They come and get the car, he didn't pay the car note, he didn't pay the insurance, the police pull you over, you're looking for the card expired, he told you he paid it, but now the police is there and the insurance is expired. All irresponsible behavior. And you say, what can I do about it? Two things. You can either tolerate it or you can implement a change. If you stay there, then you need to go behind them to make sure the bills are paid, which will make them angry because now you're checking up on them. Now you're a burden to them. Now you're trying to control them. Now you don't trust them. But you got evidence that if you don't do this, that you and the kids can be in some serious trouble. The narcissistic relationship is filled with trauma. Listen to me, my friends. It's filled with trauma. You've been there for 5 years. You've been traumatized for 5 years. Once the love bombing was over, which could last for 3 months, 6 months, sometime a year, but right after that, the mask come off. Once the mask come off and you know who they are, you got problems. That's when your real fight begin. Because once you see them, this empty hole is seen inside of them. They feel vulnerable when you see them. So they fight you, and really what they're fighting is the vulnerability. It's not you they're fighting their unhappiness. They're never happy, they're never satisfied. This hole inside of them, everything you put in them goes right through that hole. Nothing lasts, nothing settles, nothing is permanent. You're married for 25 years and you still don't know whether they really love you or not. You don't even really know whether you have them or not. You know they're not faithful. They show evidence, but they word salad, they devaluate, they lie, they gaslight, and you just can never put your hand on anything, even though it's been 20 years. And if you stay there another 20 years, I've had clients been married for 60 years and they are still having some of the doubtful mindset that the person who just got married is having. Why? Because a narcissist is not confident or guaranteed in a relationship. They are triangling. They need new supply. They are bored. Their attention span is weak. It doesn't last long. They get bored easily. And when they get bored easily, they're going to step outside the house. That's why it can be very dangerous, especially in this time, because narcissists don't believe that they can be infected. They have this belief, and I mean risk takers. They are tremendous risk takers unless you get a vulnerable narcissist. When you get a vulnerable narcissist, that vulnerable narcissist is filled with fear. They always go to pity. They always need love, no matter how much you give them. And they're always this pity party. You know, they lack confidence. They lack assurance. But other narcissists, they are risk takers. They take risks because they don't think anything can ever happen to them, because they deal with grandiosity all the time. And they think they're God's favorite. They think that God favors them. And those who are not religious, they think that somehow nature or a higher force has given them favor, and what happened to other people won't happen to them. This is irresponsibility. They can be sexually irresponsible, emotional irresponsible. They can be financial irresponsible. They can be a social irresponsible. You got friends over and the narcissist is tired of the friends. The narcissist just take a walk to the store, or he's on the phone, or she's on the phone, and you're telling the narcissist, we have people in the living room, please come. Please don't do that. And if you have a violent narcissist, you can't confront them, because if you confront them, they will take you in the other room and abuse you in a way, hit you on the side, hit you under the breast, or knock you down. Take your feet and beat the bottom of your feet. Why? Because you have guests in the living room. So the narcissist is not going to show the abuse unless he's a malignant narcissist. The malignant narcissists don't care. They will fight you anywhere. See, and so when I talk about being responsible, you have to use wisdom in the way you behave, because you are responsible. The narcissist is not. They will embarrass you publicly. They will embarrass you in front of your friends, because the worse you look, the better they look. And then a narcissist can be so appealing and charming in front of your friends and pull you in the bathroom and do everything but call you a child of God. And you come out, you're broken, you're crushed, and people are looking at you broken and crushed. And then the narcissist is laughing and talking and complimenting you outside. So when you're broken and crushed, you look like you're the problem. You look like that you don't appreciate, you don't value your narcissist. And the narcissist's irresponsibility would not allow them to confront your reality. And if you remember that they live in a fantasy world, and you got to see which fantasies they've constructed for the day, because it can change, because they wound easily, they abuse easily, their attention span isn't long. Come on here. They are risk takers. They have to be charmed and praised all the time. And wherever they go, they want to be the center of attention. Even at a wedding, they would take the attention away from the bride. They would take the attention away from the other groom. And she said, do they ever go around anyone without a mask? When the narcissists go around without a mask, you better believe they do not care. Usually, that is the malignant narcissist. The malignant narcissist, or the overt narcissist, they're loud, they're boisterous, they embarrass you in a store, they embarrass you in church. You sitting in church and something happened, they hit their knees, jump up and say, every time I come to church, you always are criticizing me. I can't even enjoy the house of God. Run out. And you didn't even say nothing. But they're not going to let them think that it was them. So they put everything on you, and the whole church is looking at you. It was in a church. Yes. And the whole church is looking at you. And they're thinking, how can you do that to that man of God? He can't even enjoy himself. And the whole time he's pinching you on the leg. He's elbowing you because you didn't even do nothing. You got up, got ready for church, but he having a bad day. You are just an appliance. So being irresponsible, a responsible person will wait till the right timing, take it outside, but not the narcissist, not an overt, not a malignant narcissist. They handle their business right there because you got to remember they're acting like children. They're having a temper tantrum and you walk on eggshells. You don't know whether to move. You don't know whether not to answer. You don't know whether to answer because it doesn't matter what you do. No matter what you do to the narcissist is going to go left depending on what type of narcissist they are, and especially the vulnerable narcissists. Oh, the vulnerable narcissists rub their head, hold their head down because now the vulnerable narcissist is going to get the attention of other people to make you look like a dog. Come on. And so everybody's looking at you like, that sweet man, that sweet woman. What have you done? They are not going to hold responsibly. When you've been with them for 5 years, when you've been with them for 10 years, you can't live in a fantasy world. You got to know their behavior and the extent of their behavior. Their behavior and their ability to embarrass you, it's all the time. If they can get praise, you're going to get embarrassed. And you're going home, you're asking, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And you love me. They say, I love you, that's why I do it. Because I don't know what else to do. You be pressuring me. You like, I didn't say anything. I know I wanted you to talk. Then you say, I was just talking because I wanted to have concern. Yeah, but I wanted to be quiet. Look, you can't ever please them. Those of you who wrote me and say, why are they so irresponsible? It's ingrained in their nature to be irresponsible. It's ingrained in their intent to be irresponsible. In their mind, they dream of how to hurt you. You say you can't have people that are that vicious. You can if they are narcissists and they're not sorry and they're not apologetic. They would do it again and again. Hello there, Dara. How are you? I'm glad you caught me live too. It's been a while since I've been on. Hey, I know that it's a difficult relationship, and I know you wished you had another way out and it would change. I know you want God to deliver them. You're praying, God, why aren't you answering my prayer? God is not going to bombard your narcissists and make them love you. God is not going to bombard your narcissists and make them do right. The same way he's not going to make you leave. He's not going to make you get tired because he gave you as a human a choice. No, it's not easy, especially when you have a family, because if you take those kids, that's abduction. They can charge you. So you have to use wisdom. I am an advocate on building your mind. Build your mind. Strengthen your mind. Put into you. You are more powerful than you believe. You got strength in you that you haven't even tapped into yet. And you say, but I can't leave them because I love them. I promise you, you build yourself up. It ain't a matter of leaving. It's a matter of you knowing who you are. And you're saying, I'm worth more than this. I got more value than this. I don't have to take this. And when you give yourself more value, you'll be amazed how many answers will come. So I am hoping that I answered a lot of questions. I got a tremendous amount of email saying, why are they so irresponsible? You got to remember too, a narcissist does not think like you think. They have a personality disorder, and this disorder prevents them from loving real love because they're locked inside of themselves. whatever happened. And sometimes it's not trauma. Sometimes the parents get the golden child and they live their life vicariously through that child. And that child doesn't get to make their own decision. And that child is perfect. They can't do any wrong. And when they can't do any wrong, the parent always undergird them, but the parent lived the life through that child. So even the golden child can be in bondage. Or they had a trauma. And that trauma is a little baby. They found a little baby. The little baby was about 3 years old. And there was an earthquake. And this little baby was under that earthquake for 3 weeks without water, without food. But miraculously, the baby survived. The parents died, so the baby was adopted. But they said the baby always seemed like something awkward, like something was wrong with the child. And you would love it and his hand would be down. And then when you put your hands on it, he will put, where you put his hands, that's where he will hold it. And if you tell him to kiss you, he will kiss you. But as he grew up, he was told what to do emotionally because he did not have them on his own. He was not stimulated to act. And as a teenager, the child grew up as a teenager, was very manipulative. And the parents that adopted the child said they would tell the child not to take things. That's what the child would do. Everything they told the child not to do, the child wanted to do it. And whatever the child wanted to do, the child would do it. He would get the food they said not to. He would get up if they say not to. He did what he wanted to do. And she had a lot of problems with the child going through school. And she said the child was never emotional. One day she took that child. The child was almost out the house, about 17 years old. Found out the child was a narcissist. Personality disorder. And they went back to the earthquake where the child was traumatized. And the child went inside of himself to survive. He disassociated from the moment. He disassociated from the event. He disassociated from what happened. So the pain of that moment shocked the child. And the child survivor went into his mind where he disassociated from the event and went inside himself and was not able to come out. And the child grew up to be a narcissist, a malignant, overt narcissist from this small, quiet child. But as he got older, he got more aggressive. So the narcissist got pain, and that's why they're causing pain. The narcissist has been traumatized, so they cause trauma. Whatever you are experiencing, they experience. That's what they know to do. And the good that they crave, they get that from you. You show them how to do it. And from every relationship, he pulls something called humanity from that relationship because he got all the cruelness that he needs. He think of that all day. He dream of that all day. Can you think of a mind that think cruel all day? 24/7, they're thinking how to hurt you. 24/7, they're thinking how not to carry the burden. 24/7, they're thinking how to load you up again with more problems. 24/7. How can that be good for you? That's not good for you. The reason the narcissist is irresponsible because that's his mindset. That's her mindset. And they are immutable. They do not want to change because that's what they are. And there's no reason for them to change because to them they're perfect. You are flawed. And when you are flawed, then you must be the one that changed. Narcissistic behavior and the irresponsible narcissist, when they are responsible, there's an ulterior motive for all of them because they're about themselves. If this video has blessed you and encouraged you, write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. Let me know how this has blessed you. And those of you who have questions, please submit your question. I would love, 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 love to answer them. And thank you for those of you who kept looking at the videos through my travels. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please subscribe to this channel, like and share the page. When you subscribe, it really helped me to reach more people. And I love doing the videos, and I'm going to come on live and do more videos. Thank you so much. So please leave your comment at the bottom of the page. I will read those comments and I will reply to you. If you want to leave information for me, please go to destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. I love you to life. Please subscribe, like, and share the page. I will see you next time. Let's go live.